All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out all of the red cards for OP-09. So, spoiler warning up front, guys, just to give you a heads up, there's going to be lots and lots of spoilers for us over here in the West. Yesterday's video was a leader breakdown. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys, sorry about that. I went over all the leaders yesterday in yesterday's video. And I also had a tier list in there, so if you have not seen that yet, you might want to go check it out. Those are always fun. Those are always a lot of fun. But let me give you guys a quick breakdown for today's video. It's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty basic. We're not going to have any VV Lab. We're not going to have an art critique. We're just going to be going straight into all these new cards, because when I'm done with all these videos, I plan on putting them into an actual playlist, so I can, so people can use that however they want to. And send those to new players, or send those to players who are trying to pick up what's going on in the new OP-09 meta in the East. Because, guys, at the time of me recording this video, we're just now getting into OP-08 in the West. As of this Friday coming up, we will finally have access to the OP-08 cards for the pre-release. But guess what, guys? We're already seeing the first wave of results come in from the East. So we got to stay up to date, or we're going to start falling behind. Excuse me. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's dive into it. Or actually, let me tell you what we're going to be diving into. We're going to be checking out all the red cards first. Then we're going to head over to the sim. We're going to have, just one game on the sim today. It's actually going to be green-blue Zonji, OP-08.5 version. Just a lot of fun. And then from there, we'll check out that deck list, and we will wrap up the video in that way. So very straightforward, basic video today. We're just doing a set breakdown with with a single sim game at the end of the video. Just stuttering like crazy today, guys. Sorry. Okay, now let's get into this. I will not do a full breakdown on Shanks here. If you want to know what I think about Shanks, I will link the video in the comment section below. I've already done all of the leaders. I've done all the leaders, okay? And of course, moving forward, guys, spoiler warning. This is just straight OP-09 spoilers. But I will at least mention one thing, because we will see a lot of Red Hair Pirates cards in this set. This leader looks very promising. Let me just say, judging by number one, what the leader effect does. Number two, judging by the cards that I've already seen in the set, because I have seen a lot of these cards. And number three, judging by early results already coming out from the East, it looks like Shanks is doing very well right now, guys. It looks like Shanks is doing very solid. Okay, minus 1,000 power during the turn is what this leader gives. It says once per turn, this effect can be activated when your opponent attacks. Give up to one of your opponent's leader or character cards minus 1,000 power during this turn. Seems good. So whenever they swing for 5, you're going to drop it down to 4. Whenever they swing for 6, you can drop it down to 5 and 1k counter out. And even if they swing for the magic number of 7, minus 1,000 power, 2k counter out. Just absolutely incredible. That can go a very long way, guys. Very good stuff. And there's also tricks you can do with it as well. Okay, the alt art looks great. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Uda. So I am going to try to rate these. Like I said, if you want to know what I think fully about the leader, you can watch the video from yesterday. But I try to rate every card from 0 to 10. Okay, just to give you guys a heads up. So I'm going to start doing that now. I already rated Shanks in yesterday's video. I think I gave him a 7.5 or so. So for Uda, this is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter searcher. This is a on play. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Red Hair Pirates type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. It is a 1-cost top 5 searcher. I don't have anything bad or good to say about it. With searchers, I think I always give those a very generic rating based on which kind of searcher it is, because there's 2-cost searchers, there's even 2k counter searchers, there's 1-cost 2,000 power 1k counter searchers like this one, and I'm just gonna give this a 7 out of 10 because it's just a very solid searcher. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Just a very strong, solid, good searcher. Okay, got the alt art for it here. Looks really good. Okay, very, very solid. Next up, we have Shachi Penguin. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, Heart Pirates type. The effect is when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. This is just a solid card. I feel like I'm starting to think, like, was this geared towards Red Purple Law? That's definitely what it feels like. Who knows? And maybe this is even geared more towards the new promo version of Red Purple Law, because I believe, I can't remember off the top of my head because it is a relatively new card. I think you can only cheat out Heart Pirates type cards now with the new Red Purple promo Law leader. So maybe this is geared directly towards that. But as far as what the card does, it's a 4-cost 5k, has a 1k counter. That stat line is completely fine. No one has an issue with just dropping that on turn 2 going second. You're completely fine with that most times. When attacking, there's no Dawn investment required. It's not a Dawn ×1 when attacking. But when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. Yeah, I think this is a solid card. I'm just going to give it like a nice little 7 out of 10. I don't think it's great. I mean, the lowest I'd give it's like a 6.5 out of 10. It just helps you battle for the board, and it just plays out on curve. I mean, I would go somewhere between 6.5 and 7.5 out of 10 for this one. Solid card. Okay, right away. I don't determine the order for these guys, but we got Shanks coming out right away here, right out of the gate. 10 cost, 12,000 power. 4 Emperors, Red Hair Pirates type. The effect is give all of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power. and then he has Rush. And then, of course, he has Rush on top of that. This card is outstanding. This is a top tier, probably going to be a meta-defining card. You know, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, this card, and another card we're going to look at later today, those who have the observation hockey, you know what other red card I'm talking about. This card right here, guys, is just incredible. It is not leader locked. It is not type locked. It has no restrictions. It's a 10 cost, 12,000 power character with Rush. That alone would be good. And then it also can make all of your opponent's characters, not the leader, all of your opponent's characters have minus 1,000 power. And that's a static. That's not for your turn or your opponent's turn. No, that is just static. It happens at all times. This card's incredible. If you're playing a red deck, this will probably be an auto-include in it. I don't know. I guess it depends because, you know, I am in my red-yellow Sabo arc on the channel, and I probably won't run this card, but there is another card we'll talk about later that I'll probably run. But who knows? We'll have to see how the meta changes and how it shifts because this is just an incredible card. It's just absolutely incredible. But we'll see, because if I'm going to play out a Shanks card, I will say, this might sound crazy, but within the context of like red-yellow Sabo, the deck that I play the most, sorry guys, this one's not as good as the 10 cost 12k that pops a 10k or less, because that deals with a threat that I need off the board, and then I still have the 10 cost 12k body. And if I'm going to make a full 10 Dawn commitment with that kind of deck, it has to remove a character from the board, something like a Zoro, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's very technical. For the newer players, don't even worry what I'm talking about. We're talking super technical stuff there for a deck that no one plays but me and a few others. Actually, I think there's quite a few others at this point. Red-Yellow Sabo does have a little following. Okay, so back to the card. I'm going to rate this card a 9.5 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10, actually, because it is a 10-cost character, so the card is dead the entire game, right? The card's dead the entire game in your hand until you get to the 10 Dawn turn. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, but then once you start dropping this card, if you start chaining these together, yeah, it's going to be ugly for your opponent. Really good card. And then the alt art. Gosh, guys, this alt art is so incredible. Big fan of this one. Huge fan of this alt art here. Looks great. I'm going to have to do like an art critique on this one later. Good stuff. Oh, and a manga. It also has a manga version as well. Very good. I'm sorry. This is the best one. I'm sorry, guys. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. This is the best Shanks art out of all the three. This one's good. I do like this one. It has a very specific style, and the way that the lightning's coming at us is good. But this one, like the hockey, right? The hockey's coming at us. But in this one, it is in a whole different way, where the hockey is almost more of like a blood splatter than it is the actual like bolts like you would normally see. Really good stuff here. And then this one's just kind of like straight from the anime, or straight from the manga. Really cool. Okay, and another one. Okay, we got 4 Shanks in a row here, guys. We got 4 Shanks in a row. Which one do you guys like the most? Out of all 4 of these, which one's your favorite? This one's actually really cool. The Wanted. Okay, here's my one problem with the Wanted picture ones, because there's a lot of Wanted ones coming out in this set, and there's also been a few in the past. But they don't really match the flavor of the One Piece card game. You know what I mean? Like look at all these different ones. These all match, even though they're all very different style. Like this has the SR background. By the way, that is something to mention as well, guys. This is just an SR, so you might see this, whenever the sealed, tournaments start popping off in the pre-releases, which is, you obviously grab this, right? But look at this, guys. So all of these kind of still go together because they have that border around it, like this border right here. I'm sorry you guys can't really see it, but it like starts with the name and it goes up to the 10, goes across under the power, and then dips back down to the character nameplate, right? And that kind of makes the piece look like a One Piece TCG card. Well, when you go to these, the Wanted pictures don't have that because they're a very special you know, style of card. And this isn't the only game I've had this problem with. I think there's a Codex of Frailty in Flesh and Blood. It has the same. There's an alternate art for that card that looks just like this actually, with the weird looking, you know, like poster background or whatever, like parchment paper background. And I'm not a big fan of that. However, the piece still looks really good. I'm not trying to complain. I'm just saying I like these way better. But hey, for collectors, you're going to have to get 4 different kinds of Shanks, guys. Really good card, though. Outstanding, meta-defining. This is easily a 9 to 9.5 out of 10, guys. I don't like giving cards 10 out of 10. I don't think I've ever given a card a 10 out of 10. Okay, now we got Silver's Rayleigh, 10 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. But Silver's Rayleigh here, we got 5 out of... this is a 5-cost, 6,000 power character, 1k counter, blocker. On play, if your opponent has 2 or more characters with a base power of 5,000 or more, draw 2, trash 1. Yeah, this is nice. This is a nice card. It's not like a meta-defining like what we just saw with Shanks. However, this card is absolutely incredible, right? It's just a nice 5-cost, 6k, 1k counter blocker that's going to draw 2, trash 1, probably 99% of the time. And I know some people are probably going to say, like, yeah, but it's that 1% of the time where it doesn't hit, or maybe it's a 5% chance that it doesn't hit, or a 10% chance where your opponent doesn't have 2 characters that have 5,000 power base, or base power or more. I just don't see it though, guys. I really don't see it, because if they don't have a character that's 5,000 power base or more on the board, like they just have an empty board, well then you don't play this character anyway. You develop something bigger. This is meant to be a reactionary blocker style character where it's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and develop this now that they have nothing on the board. You're not going to want to play this when there's nothing on the board. That's what I'm trying to say. I got distracted there a little bit, guys, but I'm just going to say this. You don't want to play this when they have nothing on the board. You want to keep building bigger and bigger characters. But as soon as they have 2 5,000 power more characters on the board, you can drop this down and go about it that way, drawing 2, trashing 1, fixing your hand in the process. And he's a 1k counter in hand, worst case scenario. I think this card has extremely good utility, and I would not give this under an 8 out of 10. This is just a solid blocker. It's not going to break the game or win, I mean, it could technically win you the game. Blockers have won me games, guys. I'm sure they've won you games as well. Depends on the deck you're going against. But, yeah, I think this is a great card with massive upside, with a lot of potential upside. The ability to, like I said, I would be willing to, okay, let's think about what's in the format right now. Lucci, Gecko Moria might be in there too. Like, still, there's going to be Gecko Moria players, I think. What else? You've got a lot of Straw Hat stuff would be out, and we're talking about during OP-09. There's probably going to be a lot of Straw Hat stuff that's just filling the board. Blue Dofi filling the board. Any kind of aggro deck that takes the place of Red Purple Law, something like Zuro or something along those lines. Actually, that would be the one card, or the one leader that would be very strong against this one, where it's like, wait a minute, he doesn't have a lot of 5,000 or more base characters. He might. They still might have like the 5k Chopper and like the green 5-cost Law on the board, because I've seen people do tricks with that. But generally speaking, though, which of those decks are not going to have 2 or more 5,000 power characters on the board, or more? So I think this will almost always be a draw 2, trash 1. And here's the thing: if you can play it, and you're not going to get the draw 2, trash 1, I just wouldn't even play it. I would just play your next best card, And I know that's why I drop it down to an 8 out of 10. If that was just a draw 2, trash 1 with no stipulation, it had all these normal stats, this would be like a 9 out of 10, because it's just a very good card. Because that's how I see Queen, right? The purple 5-cost 6k Queen from Animal Kingdom Pirates, all the way back from ST04 or whatever it was. That's just Dawn -1, draw 2, trash 1. So you're always going to get that effect. Like, yes, you do go back in Dawn, but that, draw 2, trash 1's insane, guys. On a blocker body, has a 1k counter in hand. I love it. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. The lowest I'd go is an 8 out of 10 on this. All right, next up is Howling Gab. This is just a 5-cost 7k vanilla character. Nothing to talk about. I always give these a 5 out of 10 because it's just an average character. And I've had some people say, like, yeah, but don't you think the 4-cost 6k is better than like a 2-cost 4k? Yeah, for sure, but you're still getting the same bang for your buck, right? Because the idea is this. So whatever it is, like say you play it down, well, number one, in this game you have Dawn where you can always just buff it up, right? So each one has their own utility, but generally speaking, this does have a decent type, like with Red Hair Pirates. It is a 5-cost 7k, a magic number, but I'm still just going to get a 5 out of 10. The most I'd go for a vanilla is like a 5.5 out of 10 for like a well-statted one. Okay, next up is Heat. We got a 3-cost 4,000 power 1k counter blocker for Kid Pirates. On play, up to one of your leaders with 4,000 power or less gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Okay. So this is clearly meant to be for the red purple kid leader, because that's the only leader that this can even apply to. I think. Right? I'm trying to think. Does any other leader have a way to go down to 4,000 power? I'm not sure. Not even worth. It's not even worth thinking about, to be honest. This is clearly for a red purple kid, guys. It's a three cost. There's a fly in here. There's a 3 cost It's a 3 cost 4,000 power blocker with a 1K counter. I think that's already fine, and then it will allow your useless kid to attack in early, you know, without having to go back and Dawn. I think this card is solid. It's for a specific deck, so I'm not going to go too crazy with the rating, because this isn't good in any other deck, to be honest, guys. It's just I just don't think this is good in any other deck list, unless, like I said, unless there's something that's reducing the power of your leader on your turn, because we have Karasu that can drop the power on their turn, but on your own turn, I think only red purple kid fits that bill. So I'm going to give this like just I'll give it a 6 out of 10, because I think it's just a little bit better than like what we'd expect from a 3 cost 4K 1K counter. It's almost like a 3 cost 4,000 power 1K counter blocker with no effect, because Eustace Kid has 4,000 power if you have 4 or less life, right? Or if you have 4 or more life. So it's kind of annoying for him. So this character at least helps that, but otherwise, this is almost a totally generic blocker for any other deck. Okay, Building Snake. This is a 1 cost 2,000 power 0 counter. Red Hair Pirates. Activate main. You may place this character at the bottom of the owner's deck. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Excuse me. Okay, so we have a character here. This is like the newest version of Gordon. We've got Gordon, we've got Raise Max, and now we've got Building Snake. They're just 1 cost that reduce power by 3,000. Guys, I'm just going to give this card. So I feel like they printed this card because of the price of Gordon when Red Purple Law was going absolutely crazy. Because Gordon had got up to $40, and if Red Purple Law somehow was going to stick around, because I think they come up with the designs for these cards probably like 2 or 3 sets, you know, in advance. Like they're planning out 2 or 3 sets ahead of where we're at right now. So this card was probably meant to lower the price of Gordon, but then it never came around. I don't see this being the greatest card. For the time being, people will probably still play it because it does combo well with something like, there's a card we're going to be looking at soon, Benn.Beckman. It does combo well with certain cards, but generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of these kinds of cards. The 1 cost 2K sack itself to -3. I almost wish it was built into an event, and that the event afterward, then the event had a trigger at the bottom, not afterwards. You know, because both these cards go to the bottom. It's like I said, it's literally a character that's built like an event where you play it and it just goes away. You activate the main and it goes away. You technically don't have to activate it right away, so maybe you can get an attack off with it first and then use the effects to get extra value. I get it, but I'm just going to give this a 5 out of 10. Because I would almost rather just play a 1 cost 3,000 power card in the place of this with a 1K counter, just a vanilla. But at the same time, this one does have the added utility. So you're losing 1,000 power in counter. You're losing 1,000 power in actual power, in raw power. But you're gaining a potentially useful activate main effect. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, next up we got Benn.Beckman. So speaking of the person, I was just talking about this card, Benn.Beckman here. This is a 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter character. Excellent stat line. That is a stat line I would love to see more of. This 7 cost, 7K, 1K counter, Red Hair Pirates type. The effect. On play, trash up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less. That is trash. That is not KO. Trash is almost like, it's almost as good as bottom decking. It's not quite as good as bottom decking, because bottom decking means that card's gone. Okay, until we get some kind of way to draw from the bottom of our deck or shuffle our deck more, bottom decking is just insane removal. Whereas trashing a card does put it in the trash, where it can be recurred back with any kind of like black effects or something like that, or any kind of graveyard recursion, trash recursion. So I think this card is incredible. It's popping a 6 or less just right on play. And again, it's trashing it. It's getting around all kinds of anti-KO stuff or on KO stuff. I'm going to give this card a 7.5 out of 10. I would even go closer to 8 or 8.5 out of 10, I think, but it is a 7 cost character. But it does have a 1K counter. So I will give it a hang on. I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'll give this card an 8 out of 10 because you are going to be able to combo this with other things. Maybe not your leader effect in the case of Shanks. However, in a deck like Marco, Man, this is almost better than the, well, this is better. This actually, in my, I don't know, I guess it's not better, but this is like as good as the new gate they just got in ST15 that pops a 5,000 power or less. This trashes on play, and you don't have to tap the character, you know? But with, I guess the one thing that new gate has going for it is these can both be played on turn 7. However, the 7-cost new gate attaches a Dawn to the leader to do the red-blue Marco effect, and now they're hitting a 7,000 power or less. So there is a slight buff in that direction for a new gate. However, or a slight advantage in that direction for new gate versus this card. However, this one has a 1k counter. Excuse me. And I have to say, guys, this card, this is strong. This is a really strong tempo card. Popping a 6,000 power character or less is just incredible. Like, that's pretty much where you need to be. And if you do combo with something like Building Snake, you're popping a 9k. Guys, that's awesome. As far as the rating goes, oh, and also remember the Shanks we just looked at? Everything on the board's power is going to be reduced at all times, so you're popping a bigger and bigger character. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give this card an 8 out of 10. Very, very strong. Excuse me. Okay, we got an alt art for Benn.Beckman. Very nice. Looks really cool. Next up, we have Bonk Punch. Bonk Punch. Yeah. Okay, this is a 4-cost 5k with a 1k counter. It is a red-haired pirates type on play. Play up to 1 monster from your hand. It has brackets, so that's the name of it. Dawn ×1. When attacking, this character gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. So if you attach 1 Dawn, this guy's swinging for 8k. And it does play a card from hand. I think this card's excellent. We got to skip through the monster, guys. I'm sorry. Here he is. So this is the card you'd be playing out. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So you're playing out a 3-cost 4k, 1k counter, and if your character Bonk Punch would be KO'd by an effect, you can trash this character instead. Okay, so this has protection as well. Alright, hear me out, guys. So you're going to be playing out a 4-cost 5,000 power character, and both of these cards have counters to them, by the way. Notice that they both have 1k counters. That's awesome. So you're going to be playing out a 4-cost 5k that also can play out a 3-cost 4k. So you're playing out 7 Dawns worth across, you know, what is it, 8,000 power? 9,000 power. So 7's Dawn worth across, you know, for 7 Dawn, 9,000 power. Or, excuse me, for 4 Dawn, you're getting 9,000 power and 7 cost worth. Extremely powerful card. Sorry, guys, I'm stumbling all over myself today. And then the effect here, Dawn ×1 when attacking, this character gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. So that's just built in. Okay, so it's a 4-cost 5k, 1k counter with potential upside to play out a monster, this card named Monster. And it has Dawn ×1 when attacking to buff it. Guys, I'm going with, like, this card's like a 7.5 out of 10. Like, this is just a great card. And then if you have Monster in your hand as well, this is like a 9 out of 10 or a 9.5 out of 10. It's insane at that point, the way you're going to be able to ramp. So this is one of those cards where if you have, like, let's just say you have Bonk Punch in your hand and you play out Uda, you might want to grab Monster just for tempo purposes, you know? I do think this is a very solid card. Very nice to see this kind of interaction. And it looks like they are finally... They're giving red another version of flooding the board now, because they're giving that to every color. For those who are not aware, if you're like a newer player and you don't know what's going on, they're going to give board flood. They've determined they want that to be a possibility in every color. Black gets it through like filling the board out from the trash with cards like Gecko Moria. Green gets it with a lot of different things. Blue gets it with like Doflamingo and the 7 Warlords package. Purple can do it with the new Straw Hat stuff. What did I miss out on? Yellow can do it like number 1 from triggers. That's like a massive tempo potential there. But even cards like Ohm and Holy, and they've given it to everyone. And now now red has one as well. Red had one through the Revo Army stuff, but that was very specifically like for Revo Army. Okay, I think I named all the colors: red, green, blue, purple, black, yellow. Yeah, I think so. Either way, very powerful here. I would give this, like, I'm giving this a 7.5 out of 10. And the turns where you have it with Monster, it's going to feel like a 9 out of 10 play every time, guys. It's going to feel really strong. Okay, next we have Hongo. This is a 3-cost, 3,000 power, 2k counter, Red Hair Pirates type card. Activate main, you may rest this character, and if your leader has Red Hair Pirates type, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. That's massive. Guys, this is an incredible utility 2k counter. It's a 3-cost 3k 2k counter that has activate main, rest the character, and if your leader is Shanks, right, or any kind of Red Hair Pirates type in the future, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2k for the turn. That's Very, very strong, guys. And this is a nice 10 Dawn play you might be able to play with Beckman if you have Benn.Beckman in your hand. So, okay, play out the guy we just said, minus 2,000 power for the turn, and then we pop an 8k or less with Benn.Beckman. Very strong synergy there. And now he's rested on the board. He's going to act as a blocker as well. They're going to attack straight into this, and he's a 2k counter in hand. This card is absolutely incredible. I'm giving this 2k counter like... I can't give it lower than an 8 out of 10, guys. This is like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10, to be honest, for what it's doing, for being a 2K counter. But I give 2K counters a average of 7 out of 10. 7 or 7.5 out of 10, I can't remember. It's been a while. But I always give 2K counters at least a 7 or 7.5 out of 10 because they can go in any deck. A 2K counter can just fit into any deck, and then any activate main is just upside. Now, I will say this one is locked to Red Hair Pirates type, so I won't give it like a full 9 out of 10. But guys, this is an easy 8 or 8.5 out of 10 for the extra utility that it has. Outstanding card. Okay, we already went over Monster. I'm going to say the same thing with what was his name? Bonk Punch. This card, though, by itself only feels like a 4 out of 10. You know what I mean? And there's the balance, right? By itself, this card feels like a weaker version of a vanilla, but in combination with your Bonk Punch, this card ends up feeling like a 9 out of 10 because you're getting the double value. So I'm going to give it like a 4 out of 10 by itself, like I said, but it's like a 9 out of 10 if you have it in conjunction to play for free with Bonk Punch. So hopefully that makes sense. Y'all tell me if you guys, if you ever have any comments or questions or suggestions, don't hesitate to put them in the comment section below. All right. Next up, we got Yasopp. 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. On play, he's Red Hair Pirates type, of course. On play, up to one of your leaders gains plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Hang on, one thing I want to see. I was going to say, I bet he's animal as well, this guy's, because it's like a monkey. So this is also an animal type, by the way. Red-haired Pirates, an animal type for monsters. Sorry, guys. I didn't want to forget that. Yasopp, though, Red-haired Pirates type. On play, plus 1,000 power to your leader until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it does not play around something like a Time Warp Luffy, but still, up to one of your leaders gains plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then, Dawn times 1, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. This is a great card. It is a 5 cost, 6k with a 1k counter. On play, you're getting a plus 1,000 power boost to your leader for the turn. And now think about that, guys. In Shanks, you can use this. And by the way, this is not leader locked. This card is going to be very well rated, at least by my standards, because it has no leader locking at all. The type is Red Hair Pirates, but you don't have to be Red Hair Pirates to get any of these effects. On play, plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So with your leader's ability, if they swing at you for 6, you're getting out of it for free. If they swing at you for 7, you're getting out of it with a 1k counter. And if they swing at you for 8, leader effect, you're getting out of it with a 2k counter in combination with this effect. Really, really powerful. And then every turn after that, Dawn times 1 when attacking, minus 1,000 power during this turn to a character. I'm giving this card an 8.5 out of 10. I'll go 8 out of 10. I'll be more on like the, I will be on the more cautious side. But I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, I mean, 8.5 is probably not that crazy, guys, because it's a 5 cost 6k, so it's an odd curve. Having a good odd curve in the deck is way more important than people realize, because a lot of times you want to take away the odd curve from certain decks like maybe Gecko Moria or Dofi or fill in the blank. So he has the odd curve on lock, and on top of that, he's a 1k counter in hand at all times. He's a 6,000 power body when he hits the field, and when he hits the field, he has immediate upside of my leader's going to be a little bit protected. And then the Dawn times 1, if he sticks on the board, he is eating anything on the board, guys. Because think about it, he'll be a 5 cost 7k at that point when you attach 1 Dawn to him, and then you're giving minus 1,000 power to the character you need to take out. Seems good. Or you combo this with something like Benn.Beckman, where it's like, I'm just going to swing 7 at face and minus 1 to your 7,000 power character over there, and then I'm going to play out Benn.Beckman to just pop whatever it was. You probably can't do that on the next turn, like, even though it's a 5 and 7 curve, because this does require a 1 Dawn investment. But think about it on the even curve. You play this guy out for 6 Dawn, do what you need to do, and then next turn for 8 Dawn, attach 1, swing for 7, minus 1 there, slam down Benn.Beckman to pop their 7,000 power character now because they've been reduced to 6. I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10, guys. I think this card doesn't really have a downside. And it's also a 5 cost 6k, so I'm not even mad to play that on curve, and I'm also not mad to play that early in the game. Or excuse me, later in the game. And then on top of that, in hand, 1k counter, very low downside. This card's incredible. All right, next up we got Lime Juice. We got a 3 cost, 3,000 power, 2K counter. Okay, another 3 cost, 3K, 2K counter for the Red Haired Pirates guys. Check out this card, guys. Red Haired Pirates type. On play, if your opponent cannot activate up to 1 blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. Okay, so we got to go backwards real quick. If you play, so say you've been sitting on your 2K counters, right? You've just been sitting on 2K counters. Okay, well, Hongo, I'm going, like, say they have a 6,000 power Borsalino on the board, or 6,000 power Sabo on the board, whatever. Or Queen, whoever, just any 6,000 power or less blocker, and that's like 99% of them, guys. Like, most of them have that stat line. Minus 2,000 power from Hongo, and now it cannot block. On play, your opponent cannot activate up to 1 blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. Hang on, you do get to target it, right? I wonder, it's worded in a very weird way. Your opponent cannot activate up to 1 blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. Yeah, it says up to 1, so you have to choose the blocker, I believe, right? That's worded in a really weird way, guys, I have to say. Your opponent cannot activate up to 1 blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. And then we have this guy. Yeah. It might be a blanket effect where they can't activate their blockers that have 4,000 power or less this turn. Someone clarify down in the comment section below. If not, if I remember, we will go over to the rulings real quick at the end of this video, and we'll look at it there to see if it's on there. So to rate the card, though, I think this is a great 2K counter with insane utility, making it where they can't use certain blockers. I think this card is incredible. I will give this a 8 out of 10. Okay, because like I said, it's a 2K counter, so I give it a 7 out of 10 at the base level, and then that added utility, just incredible. Lucky.Roux. We got 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter. I think I said that right, guys. Lucky.Roux. Is that how you say that? Red Haired Pirates. The effect is blocker. So he's a blocker with an on KO. If your leader has the Red Haired Pirates type, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a base power of 6,000 or less. Wow. Okay, so this guy is aggressive. He's a 4 cost 5K, 1K counter. He can block, and he can KO a 6K or less base power. Yeah, I'm going with like 7.5, 8 out of 10 on this guy. I can't give it much lower than that. Guys, it looks like Shanks got some incredible support to start off his run. And I can see why it's doing well already from seeing some of the results from the East. And I can see where people were saying why this leader would be good. Like, I think the leader effect is extremely underrated by most people. From what I've read, again, this is just things I've like randomly read in comment sections on the Discord and stuff like that. The cards that he got are just incredible. Like, they're very powerful. This is extremely good starting support for a leader, and I'm sure there will be plenty more to come in future sets. But KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a base power of 6,000 or less. Yeah. So now we're blocking this guy, we're popping that guy, and it's 6,000. It's with a base power of 6,000 or less. So I don't think they can play around that by attaching Dawn. So that, guys, this just seems really, really good, especially for the go wide decks. And think about what you can do with this. Say it's a go wide deck, and they're like, all right, swing 5 because I want to get you to use that blocker and get it over with. Okay. Well, how's about I block, and then I minus 1,000 with my leader effect, right? And then I pop that character over there. Seems good, right? Actually, no, it's on KO. So maybe that, no, never mind, because with the base power, I was trying to do too much there. The point is you can block with this guy, stop that effect, let it get KO'd, and pop the dude over there. Easy. Really, really strong effect there, guys. Really powerful. I'm going to give this like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I can't go much lower than that. I think it might even need to be higher, guys. It's really good. Next up is Rockstar. So this is a 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter, Red Hair Pirates type vanilla card. Giving it a 5 out of 10 because it's just a vanilla. Okay, Wire. We got a 4 cost, 4,000 power, 2K counter, Kid Pirates type. Dawn times 1 effect. If your leader has 7,000 power or more and the Kid Pirates type, this character gains Rush. Okay, so you play him out for 4, attach 1 Dawn. Now he's a 5. If your leader has 7,000 power or more and it's Kid Pirates type, which is very easy for that leader to do. Okay, this guy's swinging in with him, and it's a 2K counter. This is a great utility 2K counter. This is like an 8.5 out of 10 utility 2K counter, guys. Really, really powerful. Outstanding 2K counter. Okay, don't want to spend too much time. I got to speed it up. I'm taking too long. All right, get out of here. 3 cost event. Red Hair Pirates type main. KO up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a total of 4,000 power or less. Okay, so here's like the Sabo effect, the you know, the Revo Army Sabo card. I think it's a 6 cost that pops 2 4,000 power or less characters combined. Like if their power is 4,000 or less combined, then you get, you know, you can get to up to 2 of them. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I do see where this is actually kind of decent in Shanks, because if you start chaining together the 10 cost 12Ks that reduce the power of the whole board, and then you combo that with one of those guys, let me see what his name was, this guy right here, the snake dude, building snake, then that could pop some pretty big characters potentially. So really good stuff there. Otherwise though, it does cost 3 and you're only popping up to a 4,000 power less base. I'm going to give this thing like a 5 out of 10. I almost want to go 4 out of 10, guys. I don't think this event is that great. That's just me personally. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Just please keep it respectful. Not a huge fan of this one, though. I'm going to give it like a 4 to 4.5 out of 10, only because it requires setup. It's like, hey, if it gets all the setup, this will feel like a 10 out of 10, right? Hey, if you've got 4 of the 10 cost 12K Shanks on the board, and then you use the event and you start popping insane characters, sure, but you've already like won the game at that point, right? If you got 4 10 cost Shanks on the board, I think you've already won the game. But this could help you get through blockers, so it does still have some utility. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. That's where I'll put this one. Okay, Nobody Hurts a Friend of Mine. 2 cost event, Red Haired Pirates main. If your leader has the red haired pirates type, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Then, if your opponent has a character with 5,000 power or more power, draw one card. Trigger, draw 1 card. Okay, I think this is still pretty good. So this can drop down the power, the trigger draws a card, which this deck is probably lacking a lot of triggers. So this is probably a pretty welcome, you know, addition to the deck. We'll have to see, guys. Once we're done with all the OP-09 spoilers, all the reviews for my reviews for all the OP-09 spoilers, then we'll start looking at some of the deck lists that have popped up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few of these in there. But at the same time, I also wouldn't be surprised to not see them, because I don't think this card's insane or game-breaking. I just think it's nice to have triggers in your deck. This is a trigger draw 1 card. It can also potentially draw a card from the main effect, and it can reduce the power of characters. I'm just going to give this like a 6 out of 10. I think, you know, it does draw a card potentially, so I'll give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I just think it's decent. I think it's solid. Come On, We'll Fight You. This is a 1 cost event for 4 Emperors, Red Haired Pirates type. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Red Haired Pirates type card other than Come On, We'll Fight You, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Trigger, draw 1 card. So this one I'm just going to give a flat 5. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Usually with searchers, I give them a 7 out of 10 on a body. When it comes to the event ones, I give it a little bit less because it's not a 1K counter in hand. It's just a 1 cost searcher that does not develop a body or anything like that. Trigger, draw a card. So maybe it is closer to 7 out of 10 if I'm being fair, but I'm just going to give it a 6 out of 10, guys. Or I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 because it's just a searcher, an event searcher, but a very good one, not a bad one. Okay, and then Red Force. Okay, so here's the last one, I believe, right? Yep, all right. Oh, well, we'll have one more after this. Hang on, guys. We'll have one more after this. So Red Force. This is a 2 cost stage, Red Hair Pirates. Effect, activate main. Activate main. You may rest this stage, and if your leader has the Red Haired Pirates type, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. I really like this card, guys. I think this is an incredible stage. It would be nice if it had trigger, play this card, of course. I think they should build that around every stage, to be honest. I think every stage should have trigger, play this card, and then they balance it around that. And I don't think that would have been that crazy, to be honest. But either way, I mean, I'm not trying to argue too much about it. I think the card's extremely good. I'm giving this card, you ready, guys? I'm giving this card a 7 out of 10. I think this card is insane for what Red Hair Pirates Shanks is trying to do, or like this deck, because minus 1,000 power to a character, that turns on a lot of your KO effects on something like a Benn.Beckman, right? Let me see if Benn.Beckman said base power. I'm pretty sure he did not. Yeah, with 6,000 power or less. So it's going to let your Benn.Beckman hit more stuff. It's going to help your Yasopp fight for the board easier. It's going to help your Lime Juice and what was the other guy's name? Hongo. It's going to help them like battle for board as well. I just think that this stage is very solid, guys. I'm just going to give it a 7 out of 10. And once you drop that thing on the board, for the rest of the game, it's going to be so much easier for you to fight for the board. Who knows, though? We'll have to see what direction Shanks goes as a leader. It might go more of an aggro route. We'll have to see. We don't know yet. But I think this stage is excellent. I'm a big fan of what this does. Okay, well, that's it for the red, right? That's it for red, guys. Oh, wait. We got one more card to look at. We got one more card to look at. Gol.D.Roger. 10 cost, 13,000 power. The reason it's not with the other red cards, guys, for those who are not aware, is it is a secret rarity, so it goes to the end of the set whenever they do the spoilers like this. It is Gol.D.Roger is a 10 cost, 13,000 power character. I'm just going to turn my phone off. There we go. 10 cost, 13,000 power character. Red, of course, King of the Pirates, Roger Pirates. That type is awesome, guys. King of the Pirates. And he has Rush. And check this out, guys. When your opponent activates blocker, if either you or your opponent has 0 life cards, you win the game. They can't block. They can't block. And that's just them, by the way. It's when your opponent activates blockers. We can still block all we want to, but they can't. So this is an incredibly powerful card. The art is incredible. Look at that art, guys. It looks insanely good. 10 cost, 13k rusher. We'll take it every single time. This card, guys, I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I almost gave it a 10 out of 10, but I can't do that. It has an alternate win condition like built in. It is one of the best executes you'll ever see, but it is a 10 cost card, okay? So I really should give it a 9 out of 10, and I probably will, like in my mind at least, but I'll at least say 9 or 9.5 out of 10 for people who are watching this, because here's the thing. If you draw 4 of these in your opening hand, you've lost the game. You know, it's like the opposite. Instead of winning the game with this effect, you lose the game if you draw 4 of these in your opening hand, because you're just going to get run over. So it's one of those cards I don't think you want as a 4 of, but it can just flat out win you the game. Like, oh, you've got 20 blockers on your board. Cool. No one cares, right? Literally, no one cares. I'm going to drop it down to 10 cost 13k and just bash through. And by the way, it's not even just this guy that'll be able to swing at that point. Your whole board can swing, and they can't activate blocker if they have 0 life, or if you have 0 life, they just can't stop it. So really, really good stuff there. But yeah, guys, this card absolutely incredible. A lot of people have been talking about this, complaining about it, all kinds of things about it, saying all kinds of things about it. But I think this is just a really good finisher. I think this becomes a 2 of auto include in every single red deck, in the same way that I think the 9 cost Zoro becomes like a 2 of auto include in almost every single green deck. There might be a few exceptions where you don't run these cards I'm talking about, guys. But I like when secret rarities are this powerful, but at the same time, it is very much a card that, you know, I don't know. I don't think you want to play a lot of these in the deck. We'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. We'll have to see how the meta turns out. Because you might have to against something like Blackbeard. Who knows? If you're running a red deck and you're trying to win, maybe you have to run multiples of these just to win. But either way, really powerful card. Huge fan. I really like this card. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, bare minimum. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the alt arts for it. This is like a special gold manga alt art for this card, guys. Or is this one? Excuse me. This is the manga gold one. Let me see. And then, yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. A little sneak peek to purple there. But Gol.D.Roger here. This is like a special gold alt art version of the card. A special secret rarity, okay? Super rare card. This one will probably go for a pretty penny. And this is like a alt art version of the card. And it just looks incredible. Looks really, really good. But guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I like this one the best. Yes, I only play with the base rarity stuff, but this art is incredible. All of the art is good. Don't ever whenever I say one alt is like, or one art is just like really, really good, I'm not saying the others are bad. Like, this art looks incredible, and so does this one, especially with the gold. That one's going to be awesome. This is like a gold manga alt art, you know, secret rare. This card's probably going to go for a lot of money. But this card right here, I just love the way this is set up with the entire layout of it. The composition just looks incredible to me. You've got the sword, the rings popping out. I'm sure I'll be going over this in an art critique in the future. All right, now we're done, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim. I do want to check one thing while I got you guys here. Let me check the rules real quick on that card, Lime Juice. If you ever have any rules questions, just go to the website and go to the Q&A. And, whoops, that was for EB01. Sorry, guys. Hang on one second. Not that one. OP-09. They have the Q&A for every one of these guys. So here's Lime Juice. If my opponent's character with 4,000 power or less has been selected as the target of this on-play effect, comes to have 5,000 power or more as the result of another effect during the same turn, can the character's blocker be activated? No, it cannot. But that's not what we were asking. Let me do a Control F and look for Lime. So I guess what I was trying to say is, like, Okay, your opponent cannot activate up to one blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. If my opponent's character with 4... So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, the way it's worded is, for some reason, it's like tricking me. And I'm very good with rulings, guys. Don't think I'm like a new player or something. It's a matter of, like, the way it's worded. Your opponent cannot activate up to one blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. So if they have 4 blockers on the board and they're all 2,000 power, they can't choose any of them. Is that correct? Your opponent cannot activate up to one blocker character that has 4,000 power or less during this turn. That seems really good. That seems really good. If I'm reading that correctly. If not, someone tell me in the comment section below. Okay. Small, rabbit trail we had to go down there, but very, very important nevertheless, especially in regards to this, guys. If you have any rulings questions, at the very top right of the website, notice up here where I'm clicking, it has the Q&A for all of the different sets, guys. This is very important. I will link this in the comment section below for those who are interested. All right, now let's hop over to a game. We got one game on the sim of me playing green-blue Zonji versus Jewelry Bonney. Let me go volume off. This is a pretty good game here, and this is typically a counter against green-blue Zonji. All right, here we go. So right here, guys, I'm just going to start off. I didn't like my starting hand, which was a little bit greedy because I think it was okay. It wasn't the worst starting hand I've ever seen, but this is a much better one. We're going to get a Sengoku search. Never lucky. We don't even get the Jinbei Weevil next turn. You know, worst luck ever. I'm just kidding. But all right, here we go. They saw that, so they actually read what I got. And watch this, guys. This is a weird, peculiar turn for me. They decide to not attack. Oh, yeah, did I go speed 2x? Sorry, guys, I forgot. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I forgot to. But, yeah, they choose not to attack here, and I thought it was the strangest thing in the world. I just thought it was so odd. So here, I'm like, okay, sure. Because the idea was this. I was going to 2K counter out of whatever they swung with, and then I was just going to Gecko Moria it back after playing out Jinbei to play out Gecko Moria for free. Okay, not a big deal. But right here, I'm at least going to go ahead and tack 5 into 1. They're not going to counter out of that. If they do, I'm in really good shape to win this game. And then they tap down my guy, and I'm like, you know what? They did a search there. I'm going to go ahead and just drop Pudding early because, number one, if I need to play it again, I can just bounce it back to my hand. It's not a problem. But I also want to fill out cards here, and I want to hurt them a little bit. I want to get them off whatever their game plan was because they had a specific game plan there against me. Okay, they locked down a card on my board with the Jewelry Bonney. They locked down my Dawn. Not really worried about that. So right here, it's like, okay, well, I still need to develop the board here. So I'm going to swing for 5. They have no Dawn open, so I can swing with my leader and my character here. We'll swing for 5, see what happens. Just waiting on my opponent here. And then I'm going to swing for 5 with my leader, by the way. And then I'm just going to play out Jinbei and play straight into Gecko Moria, even though I have nothing to get back. Oh, well. Swing for 5. Get back my, and then play out Jinbei. Get back, or play out Gecko Moria. There is no card I can get back with it. Pass turn. Okay. So, let's see what they do now. I think the Jewelry Bonney was a good play there on tempo, but remember, they probably did that because of what we did with Pudding. We messed up their entire turn. So, let's see what they decide to do now. They're going to play out a Bartolomeo, play out a blocker. Seems good. Play out another blocker. Okay. So, we must have really messed up their hand. They swing 6 into 4. I'm not defending that. They need to leave at least one Dawn active here so that way they can tap my character down. And they're trying to starve me. So, this Bonney is trying to starve me here, which is not a great decision. So I swing 6 into 6 and watch what they do. Pause. So that was not the right character to tap down. Or that was not the correct target to tap down. Against Zonji, guys, you tap down the leader. For those who are not aware, you tap down my leader because I can restand a character now. I can pull back a Gecko Moria and stand the other, or pull back a Jinbei and stand the other. I can do whatever I want now. That is not the correct play here. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what they decide to do now. I'm still swinging 6 into their guy, so they have to give me a 1K or a blocker. Or the character. Hey, I'll take the character too. They give me the Rosinante. So now swing 6. I'm going to bounce. I choose not to bounce the character here because I'm going to develop the 6-cost AK Boa Hancock. And now they're kind of in a situation where it's like, I don't think you can get my character, right? Okay, unless they play out Hody, that seems good. They'll tap the Dawn. I don't have anything to tap down except this one character. And now they're going to swing for 8 into here. Who are they going to attack into? That becomes the question. I think they should swing for 6 into my my 4-cost guy and then 8 into my 4-cost guy. That's the right call every single time, in my opinion. I can counter out of 1 very easily with my my Mihawk, and I've got another Jinbei Gecko combo in my hand if I need it. They play out Baby 5, which will stand up a Dawn up to 2 Dawn at the end of the turn. So they're trying to play around Hody Jones or something, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. So I 2K counter out. They're gonna, and they might be a new player. Hey guys, in all fairness, whenever you play on the sim, you don't know how good the players you're going against. They might be a new player. So they swung for 10 into my, or they swung for 9 into 8, and I just 2K counter out of that. Again, they're not swinging with their leader. I don't understand why you would not be swinging with the leader here. Again, they might just be a new player. Because I will say this, guys, typically speaking, this is like our worst matchup as Green Blue Zonji. So they tap down the character again. I'm like, okay, sure. They 0-cost 3K, and then they 0-cost 3K again to get out of that attack. Just save that for my other 2 attacks coming in, guys. Be smart about it. Always make sure you're doing things the right way. Because, look, I'm going to swing for 6. They could have 0-cost 3K to get out of that one. You know, or taking it, by the way. Because who knows? If they took the 9K hit, they might have got a 2K counter out of it. Then you can 0-cost 3K out of this one if you need to. Okay, I stand it up. Swing for 7 more. And this guy's in a lot of trouble now, guys. He's in a lot of trouble now. Play out the 5-cost carrot. You're not going to stand up your Hody Jones. And this is like the beginning of the end, right, guys? This is like the beginning of the end. Okay, you did play out a Doflamingo, but I still have 1 card that can attack. So in other words, you're just dead here, right? I just let the card go. I'm like, yep, sure, go ahead. Again, I don't think they attacked with their leader even a single time. I still have 4 out of 4 life. Swing for 16, into 5, we win. Again, that was probably a newer player, but here's the thing, guys. Well, number one, I wish they had attacked into my life. I could have got that Edward Weevil. That would have changed, you know, that would have changed quite a bit. But regardless, probably a newer player. But one thing to know, guys, yes, you can do a starved version of Bonney, but at the same time, you need to make sure you're doing things in the correct order, like in the right way. Because if you just let me set up my whole board, okay, starve me all you want to, because now I'm just getting extra turns, you know, more and more time to get set up. And always at least attack into the board, right? Always at least attack into the board. Okay, so this is a version I've already showed before on the channel. It's running 3 Hody Jones, 4 Carrot, 3 of the 5-cost 6K Rush Neko Mamushi, 3 of the 2K counter Mihawk that cheats out a 4 or less slash character, 4 Edward Weevil, of course, 3 Charlotte Pudding, 3 of the 2K counter Crocodile, 4 Jinbei, 4 Sengoku, 10 Boa Hancock, 4 Gecko Moria, 4 of the Dracula Mihawk, that's a 2K counter, the blue version. And then you have 4 of the, this is the new Crocodile, where it's like if your top card is a 7 Warlords of the Sea and you reveal it, you'll get to draw that card and another card, and then you'll place 1 card on the top of your deck. That part's just good for fixing your hand a little bit. And it's technically a draw card effect if you do set it up in that way. And we do have one way on how to set that up, and it is the Boa Hancock. So, I mean, you could go for the risk as well of just trying to reveal a 7 Warlords card, because it looks like we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 36 plus 1. So we have 37. There's like 37 potential targets in the deck that you can reveal out of 50 to get this effect. So it's a decent chance, but you can also just straight up set it if you have Boa Hancock. Really good stuff, though. The deck performs pretty well, but generally speaking, Boa is a very... it's not Boa, excuse me. Bonney's a very hard matchup for us. But yeah, new players have to learn one way or another how to win the how to, you know, play the game. So we can't make fun of them if they are new. We just got to try to draw attention to things that they can improve on. Like there was a turn they should have swung into my board when they didn't. Things like that. All right, guys, that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Let me go ahead and put up the playmat page here. Big shout out to everybody who supports this channel, whether you're just liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, whatever you're doing. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. The channel's been really popping off lately. I really I feel blessed. And then anybody who's gotten the playmat, hope you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in that way. And then last but not least, we got the VV Pirates patron page. Big shout out to everybody on this page who's they're just trying to help me out. You know, they're just trying to make sure the channel succeeds, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. All right, guys, I'm done. Again, if you guys have any comments, any questions, any suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, tomorrow we got the green cards, okay? We got the green cards from OP-09 in tomorrow's video. All right, until next time, guys. Peace.